Hello YouTube, No Projects here, and I am the Polaris, and welcome back to another zombie storyline video. Well, Black Ops 3 is finally out, and it's time to cover two new maps, Shadows of Evil and The Giant. Now, I originally planned on making them both separate episodes, but to understand the story of Shadows of Evil, you need to understand the story of The Giant, and to understand the story of The Giant, you need to understand the story of Shadows of Evil. And just two little warnings before we begin. First of all, get ready for a mindfuck, because this is definitely the most confusing part of the zombie storyline thus far. Also, everything I say may not be correct. Now, based on the information we know at the moment, I think I have everything correct, but you never know what DLC will bring. So without further ado, let's get into it. After Origins, Samantha takes Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takeo to World War II Germany, while Richthofen mysteriously goes missing. She takes them to Doris, and then she vanishes, being consumed by the ether's energy. The group walks in on Richthofen the moment after he teleported Maxis and Samantha in the teleporter, which, if you remember back to the very first episode of the zombie storyline, calls Samantha to get trapped in the MPD and take control of the zombies. They ask Richthofen to surrender, but he refuses, so they kill him. Unfortunately, they were too late, and since Samantha was already teleported, the zombie apocalypse still started. So the group traveled back in time using the teleporter at Doris. They went back in time and killed Richthofen at an earlier date. Unfortunately, it did not work, and the zombie apocalypse still happened. So they try again, and again, and again, but no matter what, it won't work. This is because Richthofen had a mysterious object on him that could prevent or begin the apocalypse. And if they can't get that object, they can't save the world. Meanwhile, their time travel had an effect on Maxis. I'm not entirely sure how, but them traveling back in time gave him his memories from the old timeline back. With these memories, he made toys of the zombies, the box, the old crew, and the new crew. Also, he refuses to experiment with 115, while Richthofen still does. Richthofen makes the Wunderwaffen, the teleporter, and the robot from Origins behind Maxis' back. After he finished them, he presented them to Maxis, but he refused to mass-produce them, and instead he tried to create new weapons without 115. So, because they couldn't make any new weapons, the Allies started to win the war. They started doing airstrikes all over Germany, which made Maxis fear for Samantha's life. Samantha is also getting scared as the airstrikes get closer and closer to their home, and he tells her not to worry because he has a plan. This is when we see the cutscene with Samantha playing with her friend Eddie. Now, as of now, we are not sure who Eddie is, so as of now he is just a friend of Samantha's, but most likely he'll have a bigger part in the zombie storyline later on. So they're playing, and then an airstrike siren goes off, and Maxis orders them to go into the basement. Eddie then wishes the heroes from their game would be real so they can end the war. Samantha tells them not to worry because her dad has a plan. Eventually, Maxis got so desperate that he experimented with 115 on Samantha. This caused her to go insane, and she wouldn't talk to anyone, and when she did talk, she only screamed out for his name. Eventually, the children were taken away from Maxis, and he blamed himself, falling into a deep depression, until he met Richthofen from the Origins timeline. While the other three kept trying to kill him over and over, he was also traveling through many different dimensions, and he saw many different futures. He makes a plan with Maxis to save the universes and to make a better future for the children. This plan involves Maxis going into the ether and teleporting Richthofen back in time to set things straight. First, he had to go get the object that his other self obtains before his other self obtains it, so the zombie apocalypse can't start. And then he'd have to teleport to Doris when the other three first arrive. Richthofen teleported back to the year 1940 to a place called Morgue City in America. A mysterious person in the city felt his presence and decided that it must be taken care of. This person is the Shadow Man. Now, we don't know anything about him or his identity, but we do know he has supernatural abilities, and he's a worshipper of Cthulhu. He gets 4 sacrifices and brings them to Purgatory. These 4 sacrifices are a new cast. Now, all 4 of them have committed murder. First, there is Jessica Rose. Now, she is a burlesque dancer that dreams of being a movie star. But someone has nude photos of her, and if these photos got out, it could ruin her career. So she kills the person who has the photos to save her own reputation. Next, we have Jack Vincent, who is a crooked cop. He takes bribes from monsters, and after the mayor decides to crack down on crime in the city, he kills the mobsters he takes bribes from to avoid being caught. Next, we have Floyd Campbell. He's a boxer who cheated on the championship match by putting brass knuckles in his gloves. The person who he fought died after the match in the hospital, but he was not punished since it was considered an accident. Finally, we have Nero Blackstone. Now, he is a magician who is not doing very well financially, so he kills his wife and collects her life insurance. So the Shadow Man brings them all to Purgatory and tells them to complete the rituals. At the same time, the Samantha from the Origins timeline, which is now consumed by the Ether's power, sends hordes of zombies at them. After she teleported Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio, she managed to take the power of Purgatory from Cthulhu, who was in charge of it during Mob of the Dead. The four have to sacrifice the souls of the 4 people they killed, and after they do, something very strange happens. A giant monster comes out of the sky and starts overlooking the city. This monster is the god Cthulhu. So basically, the Shadow Man tricked the crew and got them to release Cthulhu for him. At the same time, a makeshift plane flies across the sky. Now, this plane is the same plane from Mob of the Dead. Now, I know this is confusing, but both maps take place in the same place. The Mob of the Dead crew is also in Purgatory, stuck in their infinite loop. So they're seeing it as Alcatraz, while the crew that we are playing as now sees it as Morgue City. But anyways, after this, the crew decides to fight back against the Shadow Man because he betrayed him, and they try to kill him. They can't actually kill him, but they manage to trap him inside the summoning key. After doing a few more things, they manage to defeat Cthulhu and trap him inside the summoning key. And then a strange demon thing known as the Gatekeeper gives them back the summoning key. The key now has the power of Cthulhu and the Shadow Man in it, so they can finally escape from Purgatory. But at the last minute, Richtofen comes in and steals the key. He says he is doing this for the good of humanity, and then he uses the key to open a portal and run through it, leaving the 4 characters behind. At the same time, the Mob of the Dead plane manages to fly through a portal as well. Richtofen travels to Doris when the other 3 first arrived. Just like last time, they try to get him to surrender, but he does not listen. This time, Richtofen comes out of nowhere and shoots his future self in the head, killing him. Nikolai calls him a fool for trying to change history, but he says he is doing what he does for the good of humanity. Then zombies start breaking through the facility because Samantha was just teleported and now trapped in the ether. The 4 team up to fight off the zombies together. The others ask Richtofen where he has been for the past 2 years, and he tells them he has been to many different dimensions and has seen many different futures. He also tells them that he received an object that could save them all. As they explore Doris, it's very different than before. The biggest change is that there are gumball machines all over the map, and they have gum in them laced with 115. They give you special abilities when you eat them, and they were created by a scientist named Dr. Monty. They also found blueprints for a mysterious device drawn by the same person. As of now, it is unknown who Dr. Monty is, but expect him to play a major part in the storyline later on. But that is not the only change that they find. They also find audio messages from themselves in different timelines warning them not to kill Richtofen. Finally, the Mob of the Dead plane is also found on the roof of the facility, but the gangsters are nowhere to be found. It is unknown if they escape Purgatory or not, but this may be used as a plot point in a future map. So anyways, the group now reunited at a beacon so Maxis will know where they are. Maxis, who is trapped in the ether, says he is coming to help them, and he gives them a new gun called the Annihilator to help them out for now. While they continue to fight off the zombies, something strange starts to happen. They start to get their memories back from the original timeline. Richtofen remembers making the Wunderwaffen even though he never made it, and he starts to hear the voices again. He starts to go crazy for a split second, but he manages to calm himself down and get back to work. But it seems like Richtofen may be losing his sanity, which could lead to him betraying the group again in a later map. Dempsey remembers the Pack-Punch machine being in Brazil, the Moon, and France with him, but this Dempsey has only seen it in France, so far. Nikolai remembers how it felt to be drunk, and he wonders how his drunk self is doing right now. Finally, Takio remembers a man cloaked in shadows who seeks to destroy the universe. So yeah, that's it for now. And I know there is a lot of unanswered questions, like where exactly did Richtofen go during the time he was missing? What is happening to Maxis? What is happening to Samantha? Who is the Shadow Man? What are his true goals? Where is he now? What happened to Cthulhu? Where is the Mob of the Dead crew? Is Richtofen turning evil again? And a lot more. But that's all the information we have for now. And I know it's a cliffhanger, but that's what every Zombies map is like. So stay tuned because we have at least 4 more Zombies maps coming out over the course of 2016. I personally think there'll be a few more, but you never know. So we have at least 4, hopefully more to cover, and I'll be doing storyline videos for all of them. So I hope you enjoyed. In the meantime, you click on any of the videos on the screen to be taken to them. Please subscribe for more epic videos coming soon. But remember, Big Brother is watching you.